Hey everybody, it's Shanice G. Welcome to season 2 of The Voice from the Village. I am super excited to be back and to welcome you guys to even newer things that we are doing with this podcast. Thank you so much to the ones who have continued to support me through season 1 and are back to listen and hopefully participate this season. For those of you that are just starting out, I do have an entire first season with, I believe there's like 25 episodes in there on my Anchor page. You can find me, The Voice from the Village. I also have a Facebook page, The Voice from the Village, where you can find the links to my older podcast if you guys want to catch up or, add your opinion into anything that's already been talked about. This whole season is actually adding into a lot of things that I wanted to change along the way. For those of you that been listening from the beginning, we actually started out as the Single Mom Hotbox. I created that name just because a lot of my opinion comes from a single mom point of view, even though I am no longer single, haven't been single for 7 years now, but I don't live with my significant other, so I still kind of feel like I'm almost living a single mom lifestyle, so that's where some of my point of view comes from. I was raised for about half my life by a single mother, so that's where some of my feedback comes in. But, this podcast is more than just for single parents, even though that's where some of my tips or advice or my frustrations might come from. It doesn't mean that it's just for single parents. I want this to be touching as many people, as many role models. Even if you're not a parent, I want this to be able to reach out to you because like my title now insinuates, The Voice from the Village, it takes a village to raise a child, so we kind of have to be on the ball as a community, as a world, essentially, to make sure that these kids help create a way better world, because if we're paying attention to the news lately, it seems like everything's just going crazy, and life and especially parenthood is super hard these days when you're trying to balance out all the good and the evil in the world and trying to teach your kids the best way to maintain and progress in their little lives. It's a lot of work, and some of us are doing it on our own and feeling like we don't have anybody to talk to, so that's part of the reason why I created this podcast. I actually did want to share with you guys over the summer, so we took a little hiatus in, I think it was the end of June or the beginning of July, just so I could regroup, enjoy the summer, and kind of solidify more of what I wanted to do with this podcast anyway, like starting this YouTube channel. Lost my train of thought. I tend to do that, guys, so bear with me. I'm trying to keep this as real as possible. I don't really have that much experience with editing and all that jazz. Obviously, as we go, I am going to learn more and more, but for now, I think it's totally fine. My mess-ups, my forgetful thoughts, my stuttering, whatever happens, guys. This is the real me as much as possible. I'm trying to show you guys who I am, how I deal with my life, and hopefully that's helpful to the next person. And so kind of tying into that, so over the summer, I had gone to Atlanta for the weekend to celebrate my sister's birthday, and we ended up meeting up with friends, old family friends, and one of them, my podcast basically got brought up. And one of them asked me, like, why do you do that? When I told him it's basically a parenting advice podcast. And he's like, why would you do that? That makes no sense because everybody's parenting experience, it's basically learn as you go, which I agree with. It is learn as you go. Everybody's experience is different. No one's going to be 100% the same. And those of you that actually know me in real life know this about me. I'm not so great with, comebacks on the spot. I actually really grew up really insecure, quiet. I'm still pretty quiet, and everybody has their insecurities. But I've never been good with like being on the spot when someone like asks me a question, especially when it's something that's kind of tied to my heart, and I'm like, first of all, why are you trying to come at me, bro? It's something that is creative, special to me. Like, stop hating. But afterwards, as I do, hours or even the day after, just really thinking about it, and I'm like, deep down, obviously, I know why I created this podcast. I know why I think it's important. But I just didn't state it at that time. I was just like, that's your opinion, whatever. It's not a big deal. But thinking about it, I'm like, no, I developed this for a solid reason in my book. And I've had people reach out to me that it is actually helping them. So if I'm at least helping one person, even if that one person is me, I'm all for it. Like, I originally started this as just like almost like an open diary. Just because I'm, going through a lot, trying to balance, I was trying to balance co-parenting, taking out toxic people out of my life, trying to revamp a working schedule for me and my daughter because, life is hectic, especially as a parent, especially when you're doing it primarily on your own. So, things that I throw out here, it's not 100% by the book, this is how you should do it, this is how you should react. These are things that either I'm doing or I want to do, I want to try. It's things that you guys have told me that you do that works for you, and maybe it would work for me if I'm having no luck with things that I'm getting frustrated. Like, I'm here for it all. I'm here to have a global discussion with all the role models of the world to try to be the best parent that I can be. And if in turn that ends up equaling a shoulder for someone else to lean on, or just knowing that someone else is going through maybe a similar situation, like I said, nobody's experience is exactly the same, but if I can give a little bit of light to somebody else or something that they could try, or that I can take advantage of from someone else, I really can't beat that. I'm doing this to give parents and role models a voice, somewhere where we can all just sit down and take the best of each other so we can take what fits for our family. So I don't want anyone to think that I think my tips are the best. No. Some of the things I'm actually giving you guys are articles that I've read that I'm like, oh wow, this is really interesting. Oh wow, I've never thought about it like this. Like, that's what normal people do. You share information that you have to hopefully find somebody that needed that information as well, and they didn't know where to find it. You happen to stumble across it. And I just think it's really important for people to voice what's going on inside, because like I said, I started this as almost like an open diary. So I was stressing out at that point. I have a daughter named Layla, and she's almost 9 years old, and she's going through different types of puberty and stuff like that, and I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out about her growing up. I'm freaking about relationships that she should have in her life that aren't always evident, and making sure I'm doing the right thing as best as I can with the resources that I have. And I ask for advice too. I'm not a perfect parent. I'm 28 years old. I'm a young parent. Like, she's almost 9. I had her when I was 19 years old by someone I was dating for 3 months, and at the end of my first year of college. So, things are just crazy. I literally still am growing up as my child is growing up, and I could use as much help as possible, which I'm sure a lot of you parents, a lot of you role models in these guardianship type roles could also use an extra voice. You can like it, you could hate it, whatever it is, but I still think that if, like I said, I'm helping at least one person, then it makes it all worth it. And me voicing everything that's on my mind has actually been helping me personally. Those of you that have listened in season 1 or know me personally know that I battled depression too, so I got a lot of going on. I have a crazy family, crazy history or whatever, and life itself doesn't make it that much easier to try to cope and try to be the best person that you can be, on top of having a mental disability, people that have anxiety that are parents. There's a lot in this world that affects us all, and we need to be more of a community instead of all try to fend for ourselves and keep it all bottled in, because the more you keep bottled in, the more crazy essentially you make yourself. That's how I feel. So that experience kind of made me feel like I need to be way more confident in the reason why I'm doing this podcast, and be like a snap of a hat when somebody tries to come back, because obviously not everybody's gonna love me. That's okay. But I need to be able to be secure within myself and be like, listen, you can feel however you feel about what I'm doing, but that's not going to stop me from doing it, or basically put a hindrance on what I'm trying to accomplish. I've never wanted to be, famous or be super popular. That wasn't something that was really important to me growing up or even now, so that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for as much help as possible with my situations, and to be able to give as much help as possible to everybody else's situations. There's grandparents out here taking care of children that we can learn from, the older generation. I feel like a lot of you, especially you new listeners, might realize I've got this feedback before that I speak as an old soul, and I think that has a lot to do with I had a lot of influencers. I don't want to say a lot of influencers, but I've had heavy influencers that have actually come from an older generation, one of them being one of my my grandmothers. And I think my parents in general, they also had like an older mentality. So when they were raising me and my siblings, it just kind of all stuck. And the tips that I share personally from my own life, I just felt like those had the most value, and I'd like to continue to teach that to my kids, and hopefully, that trickles down to generation after generation. So I've been told I have an old soul. I speak as if I'm, 40 or something like that. But hey, that's only about 10 years from now. Yeah, I'm just all over the place sometimes. But we try to get back to subjects. But yeah. But anyway, I hope you guys really enjoy everything that I dish out to you guys. Let me know how you feel. Obviously, you can comment on my YouTube channel. I'm actually having an Instagram that's going to be launching also all today. So YouTube starting today, Instagram page starting today. My Facebook page is still up. So everything is The Voice from the Village. So if you guys want to chime in, give me advice, let me know what you think about my advice or information that I share with you guys. You can reach me on plenty of avenues. Leave me a comment, message me. I also have an email, thevoicefromthevillage@gmail.com. So plenty of ways where you can get in touch with me. You can let me know about topics that you'd be interested in hearing about or discussing with me. I'm planning on having interviews. I'm planning on having Facebook Lives. I'm planning on having different types of interactive sessions on my Facebook page or the Instagram page for you guys to participate in. So you just want to make sure that you're liking, sharing, and subscribing so we can reach as many people as possible. I mean, I have people already that listen and involved that are in Europe. It's super exciting. Europe, Africa, like it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't have a crazy amount of followers or anything, but it really warmed my heart with the people that have already shared and got other people involved. This is just super special to me, and I hope I can, like I said before, just continue to be as influential as possible while getting as much influences to help me out too. Yeah. So normally podcast, we run about between 15-30 minutes depending on how deep the conversation is. Part of the things that I also changed is that instead of every week it's a completely different topic. Monthly there's going to be like a, our general topic. So for the month of September, because any of us that have school-age children, everybody just went back to school. Hey, I know a lot of us are excited about that, even though I technically had the summer off because my daughter spent the summer with family, so I could really focus on work and not have to pay a gajillion bucks to camp or a babysitter. But either way, school has started, and that's what this month is going to be pretty much about. There'll be different topics and I'm going to do, so schedule used to be Friday. I'm going to actually make it where the podcast, the YouTube, everything will be, losing my words, will be available on Mondays, because I have Mondays and Wednesdays off. So it gives me a little bit more time to prepare and get everything squared away for you guys. So that is a new update for you. Mondays, timing might be different, but just look out for me. That's why you gotta subscribe, so you know when I'm posting things, when things are up for you guys to listen to. If you're listening through the audio ways, I am available on iTunes, Google Play, Radio Public, Overcast, there's a few others, but if you follow me on my Facebook page, they will also have the links, and I'll probably post the links also to my Instagram, that you can connect to my Anchor page in order to listen audio through the audio way, in case you either aren't a visual learner and don't care about watching or seeing my face on YouTube, or you just really don't have the time to sit down to watch a video. You can listen to my Anchor page or on iTunes without actually being in the app, which is perfect. So you can be washing the dishes, you can be on your way to or from home and catch up on the latest and respond. On my Anchor page, you can literally call in. I'd love to hear you guys' voices. I can sometimes edit you guys into my podcast, give you guys shout outs. So please interact with me. I had great participation last season, and I would love to have so many more people involved. So please comment, please email me, please call in. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to talk about. And I will respond as fast as I can. So this is wrapping it up for today. I just wanted to introduce myself to everybody new, reintroduce myself to everybody old, and invite you guys to like, share, and subscribe on all of these social medias so we can reach as many parents and role models as possible and make this big. Make this big enough so those of us that feel alone don't have that feeling anymore, and we can really grow the best version of ourselves through our children so this world can get back on track. All right, everybody with me? Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up for this week. Like I said, this month we're going to be talking about school related items, bullying, getting ready for school, things like that. So I hope to see everybody next Monday. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. The Voice from the Village, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we are going to have a great season. I just feel it. All right, time to wrap it up. All right, happy Monday, everybody. Enjoy.